This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 83 of the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Today's show is by request, and it comes from July the 10th back in 2012. Loyal Centralite Lance from the islands of Hawaii reached out and said, "Hey, how about we hear that first interview with Rocky Stubblefield?" Well, let's get right to that. Both segments today. Greg's interview with Rocky Stubblefield from July the 10th, 2012.
My next guest is the brand ambassador for one of my favorite commercially available sauces. There is quite a story that goes along with the evolution of the company and the sauce itself. So let's go ahead. We will race over the hotline and welcome first-timer in the show, Rocky Stubblefield. Rocky, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, Rocky. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. Probably a number of different places we can start tonight. So I guess let's start here. Typically, I ask people on the show how they got into barbecue and all that stuff. I imagine this is something you probably grew up around.
Yeah, grew up with, my granddad started out with a restaurant in Lubbock, Texas, and eventually came to Austin, and that's where the sauce was born.
So, did you used to hang out at your grandfather's restaurant growing up, or is it some places that you just went from time to time, or that a pretty frequent hangout?
Yeah, well, the original restaurant started in 1968, so I was young when I went over there. I didn't really hang out. The second restaurant he had in Lubbock, I actually worked at. I got to hang out there a little bit.
So what's it like learning barbecue, from a family member? You're working for your grandfather, you're kind of keeping it family, if you will. What's it like to work alongside your grandfather, who is widely considered to be a legend in the industry?
No, it was great, to get to see, him work every day and just to see how much people admired him for, his great barbecue and the sauce and, everything that he did.
Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. Website StubbsBBQ.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at StubbsBBQSauce. Rocky, when I got into barbecue, I was all about the meat and the cooking process, and I started making my own sauce maybe, a year or so later. When CB started cooking barbecue, did he already have the sauce down pat, or was that something that he also evolved into?
It kind of evolved, but it was his sauce, his original sauce from the restaurant, just years later, everybody said they liked it so much that he should try to sell it. And, that's what brought about the sauce company, him actually going out and selling the sauce and everybody loving it.
Now, when you read the biography, your grandfather was in the military and he came back. Was he pretty much ready to go? I guess they say that's where the Stubbs barbecue was first born, first eaten. When he got back, was he ready to open a restaurant after he was done with military service, or did he wait a little while before he ventured in?
Yeah, I think he waited a little while, but yeah, that was his dream. He just loved, feeding people. He cooked in the military. There's actually a story that he cooked a bowl of chili off a hot tailpipe when he was in the military. He loved to cook, so opening up a restaurant was his dream come true.
So, looking to grow the business, you talk about when he opened that new facility in Lubbock. Prior to actually getting the sauce bottled, was there ever talk, in the kitchen or amongst family at gatherings that you were going to take that sauce to the next level on a commercial level?
No, I don't think really. It was a group of friends later on, just recommended that he should try to sell it. We never really thought about it.
Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. I guess for the folks, I don't know a lot of people that haven't, especially the barbecue niche here, but for the folks that haven't tried Stubbs yet, can you give us some of the flavor notes that the original sauce has?
The original, which is our number one seller, it's a tomato vinegar-based sauce, so, it's not as thick, no sweetness at all. A lot of people like the sweeter sauces now, but ours is, like I said, tomato vinegar-based. And it's just a great sauce. Really, best is like a finishing sauce, something to serve along with your meat after you cook it.
Absolutely. Now, I use Stubbs sauce, and it is what I call it the special ingredient in my barbecue beans. So I will use, like a Bush's beans. I put them in a colander and actually strain out the bean sauce that comes in the can, and then I'll actually replace it with a decent amount of Stubbs mild barbecue or medium sauce. That's what I like, the green label. So when I tell my wife to go get me the stuff in the store, I'm like, get the Stubbs green label, honey. That's the stuff I'm looking for. And I guess what I like specifically, I like the viscosity. I like that flavor profile you were talking about. But it seems that there was, I don't know if it was a concerted effort, but there doesn't really seem to be any type of liquid smoke. Is that something that was intentionally left out of the process, or is it in there but just in minute amounts?
Yeah, that's just left out of the process. There's no liquid smoke in there.
Do you guys hate liquid smoke as much as I do?
No, I can't say that. We actually sell liquid smoke. So.
No, but a lot of sauces, that's an ingredient in their sauce. They want to bring some type of a smokiness or a hickory flavor, so they dump liquid smoke into the sauce, which never fare well on this show. But I didn't know if that's a flavor that you guys had conceptualized putting in, and then once you smelled it or once you tasted it with it in, you're like, yeah, we want to leave that out.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep our sauces all natural, gluten-free, so, we didn't think we needed that.
So when you decide to get the sauce into the stores, I think that was like 92, was there a concern or a worry at all that it wouldn't be accepted across all of the regions? Obviously, perhaps this is more of a Texas-based style sauce because of where you're at. Was there any worry at all that wouldn't be as widely accepted across regions?
There's a little bit of worry, but, my granddad, he had a lot of friends, so, in the barbecue world, when you got a lot of friends, they spread the word, so it helps you out to, to have a lot of friends.
Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. Again, the website, StubbsBBQ.com, and you can follow him on Twitter, @StubbsBBQSauce. When I talk to sauce makers who do it at home first, one of their biggest challenges when they make that leap to sell is finding a commercial packer who isn't looking to tell you how to change your sauce or do this or do that to kind of meet their needs versus your needs, that being the guy who wants to sell the sauce. Did you guys have any issues with that when you were first starting out?
To put in your request for a future show, please contact Jon Solberg via email at jon@thebbqcentralshow.com.
That's right. You got an idea for a show, send it over to Jon at thebbqcentralshow.com, just like Lance did, and you might just get your very own episode of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Hey, while you're cruising around the internet, make sure you're following the Big Barbecue Central show on social media. It is at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter, and /BBQ Central Show over on Facebook. Very much appreciated. All right, let's get back into Greg and Rocky's talk from July of 2012.
When they make that leap to sell is finding a commercial packer who isn't looking to tell you how to change your sauce or do this or do that to kind of meet their needs versus your needs, that being the guy who wants to sell the sauce. Did you guys have any issues with that when you were first starting out?
No real issues, when he first went to a packer, he only actually had one sauce. And, when you go to a packer, they said you're actually going to need like a line of sauces. You can't just go in there and try to sell one. So that's kind of what brought about the mild, which, you put in your beans, the original, and then the spicy. So, it started out with those three flavors and, grew to what we have today.
So with all of these new products that, inevitably there starts to be like a market demand for, as you said, different flavors of sauce, marinades, mops. How do you handle the growth and the products portfolio to ensure that success?
We kind of stick to what the original is, which is, like we said, tomato vinegar based. So all of our sauces are pretty much, tomato based. And, we have a hickory bourbon, which smoky mesquite. We have a brand new sweet heat. But like I said, all of our sauces start out with that, tomato base, a little bit of vinegar, just adding a different flavor from there.
Have there ever been any products that you guys have worked on in the test kitchens or R&D and ultimately been yanked either prior to going to market, or maybe they just didn't do well after they were on the shelves and you took them back?
Yeah, we've had a couple. Actually, when we first started out, my granddad, he wanted to sell everything. So we actually had some Stubbs canned vegetables out there. We had some Stubbs serrano peppers, Stubbs chili fixins. They were there for a little while, but we had to, discontinue them. Here recently, we had a Texas teriyaki sauce and it was actually a pretty good sauce. We just, there's so many teriyakis out there, we really couldn't, get our foot in the door with that sauce.
Are you surprised?
And then we had a wicked wing sauce, it was just inferno. It was just too hot, so we had to get rid of that one.
Are you surprised to see how many barbecue sauces there are on the market now as opposed to even, when you guys started out in 92?
Yeah, it's amazing. It seems like there's a new sauce added every day. Being in the business, we have to, go out and try these sauces to see, where we stand, and what the new flavors that people are looking for out there. And, you'd be amazed at how many different sauces you can go and just buy at one store.
Oh, the shelf, that's why people are always telling me you should bottle your sauce. I'm like, you ever gone in the grocery store and seen the fact that there's 578 million different sauces to choose from? It's really hard to stand out on the shelf, right?
Yeah, it's hard. Especially if you get placed down on the bottom, you're in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. A few years back, Stubb was certified gluten-free. A lot of companies might have just, stood pat and continue to turn the product out as is. Was it a fairly big undertaking for you guys to get that certification and meet those particular criteria?
Yeah. It was a long process for us to get that. Like I said, we want to make products that are, not just good, but good for you. So, that's something my granddad wanted. That's kind of how he started making his own sauce because, he kind of had bad health. So he had to make something that he could actually eat. So.
Is the Stubbs charcoal line still doing pretty good for you guys?
Yeah, the charcoal, it is doing good. Yeah, you can get it at Lowe's, and it's going to be available in some other stores coming soon. So.
Yeah, it's for the people who don't know, it's a hardwood briquette, so it's something that I actually use in my Weber Smoky Mountains, and it's a good product. I like it a lot. Do you guys plan out a certain amount of barbecue events to attend for promotion every year, or does it just kind of fly by the seat of your pants?
No, we usually plan it out. Mostly just some of the big ones we plan to attend. Just, we don't compete, so we actually just sponsor teams. So whatever the teams, their schedule is what they're going to do. But then, I try to go out to like the Memphis in May or the American Royal, events like that.
Now, you've had a number of releases for 2012. Anything in the hopper that might be coming down the pike that you can give us a little heads up on that keep us guessing? We're working on a new marinade and a new sauce, so look for it coming soon. Is that going to be end of the year thing or
in the
next
development stage?
Development stage. All right. Sometimes those are the best stages to be in. Rocky Stubblefield is the brand ambassador for Stubbs Barbecue. And again, the website, stubbsbbq.com. That's the website. You can find out about all the products. You can find out where they are available in stores in your area. Rocky, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and telling us about Stubbs and the brand. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having us on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. There he is. Rocky Stubblefield, again, stubbsbbq.com, stubbsbbq.com.
And there are the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Episode 83, by request from our good friend Lance. If you'd like to hear the rest of this show, head over to the bbqcentralshow.com. There will be a link in the show notes to take you to the complete episode. David Bosca was in on this episode. Jason Baker was in on this episode. And competitive eater Joey Chestnut was as well. Lots of great information. While you're over there, make sure you subscribe to the Barbecue Central Show via podcast. Never miss an episode of the Big Barbecue Central Show or this show again. I appreciate you checking it out. Thank you so much. Until next time, I am your host, Jon Solberg. I always look forward to talking to you again soon.